All right. Peace, and blessings. Peace and blessings. Dr. Haki Shakur made a success scholar, honorable one of Sapo. Oh, wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm centered here properly. Hope you all are well. Hope you are wonderful. Oh, there we go. It's not all the way open there. All right. Apologies. Hope you all are well. Hope you wonderful. Beautiful. Happy Saturday night. So, man. So I wanna, before I'm glad I was able to drop this. Many, of course, may know that as you are paying attention to the news, it may or may not be a big news story, but 1965, New York City Audubon Ballroom, February 21st, Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz was shot and killed. And, if you see in the title, I say, was it the agents or was it the ninjas? So, why would I say that? Now, let me just give a preface. So, I certainly respect many different organizations who have done tremendous work throughout the community, throughout the years of uplifting individuals who, for instance, may not have had a silver spoon in their mouth and, may have grown up on the wrong side of the tracks, but, who have come and reformed themselves, right, throughout their existence. Now, I, couldn't imagine, just the struggles of individuals who have been incarcerated, and so I have a special level of appreciation for those who are able to come home and reform themselves and reform the community. So I'm always supporting that, because I believe sincerely, as our sister Marilyn Mosby said, that is the new civil rights struggle. That is the freedom struggle. Political prisoners are a part of the freedom liberation struggle. With that being said, and I have an interview coming up tomorrow. I'm going to be speaking about the 13th Amendment and, the recent things that individuals are pushing in Annapolis to get the Clean Slate Act passed, where nonviolent offenders are actually, can have that not necessarily totally expunged, but erased from visibility from various agencies, because that is one of the most painful things, that people don't have access to opportunities once they leave, they finish and complete their incarceration, but people are paying doubly. But I'll just share, so I was just watching the 67th, the Shabazz Center had a 67th anniversary. The Benjamin Crump, the attorney, was there, and I believe Tamika Mallory and Reverend Al and possibly my song was there. You see, I got my State of the People shirt on, represent. So my views express are not the opinions of the State of the People Power Tour, but of myself. But with that being said, I was thinking, and I got this book. I just went to, Brother Paul Coates, who just went and left to go to, he just went to go to Cuba. Actually, just got back, Brother Paul Coates, and so he published this book, The Black Panther Party Reconsidered. So now, as I was saying, so last year I did the 100th birthday of Malcolm X. So I had the vision to take and continue a bus tour that some of the elders, this was a big, initiative that some elders did every year for maybe 20 something years. I'm not sure the exact, time of how I went maybe 2 times. I didn't go every year, right? So I had the vision because people were asking me, to do this. Now, what I've become in the area, is the plug, right? The conscious plug, the organizer, the genius, the I ain't gonna say the genius. I'm sorry, I ain't gonna say that. That's not like, I ain't gonna, that ain't no, it's something you just go around saying, not call yourself a genius. Meaning, when people think about global, Pan-African, conscious, knowledge, books, empowerment, liberation, they think of me in the Baltimore area, right? Now, this is why I was able to be the keynote. I'm sorry. I did a welcoming address for the Black Conference. I'm sorry, the Institute of the Black World, where they had the State of the Black World Conference in 2023, right? But let me get back to what I was saying. I'm sorry. So last year, I did the 100th birthday for Malcolm X, right? And, so went to New York and almost full bus, and, so the 100th anniversary, 100th birthday, so I'll say, I'm sorry, not anniversary, and here's the thing, there were some folk in Baltimore, for instance, libation, porn, red, black, and green, wearing, that didn't go and didn't participate, didn't promote it. And so, I'm just like, you know what? This is a big learning experience for me. This was a big learning experience because, I expected 2 buses. You know what I'm saying? As much as people call Malcolm X's name in the Baltimore area, I expected for folks to come out of the woodwork. But I had to make a choice, and I had to make some decisions and try to bring people to the table. And some people got angry and jealous. I had one sister, and I guess she was just like, if you don't do it this way, you don't you don't know what you're doing, or you don't, I'm like, look, yeah, I'm only doing it because none of y'all didn't think of it. Y'all didn't organize it. Like, I started organizing it like 6 months. Matter of fact, because I was promoting it at Kwanzaa's, like almost, and I was off of work, and I went to darn it every Kwanzaa in the Baltimore area and made it happen, right? None of these so-called Afro-centered Pan-Africanist groups. I mean, some, it was a couple different people that came out of the woodwork that helped and went, but not a single raised their finger, raised their thumb, raised their hand. Some people shared it. No shade on anybody, but it was definitely a deep, deep learning experience. The psychology, of how we, give talk, or like, you want to hate on the messenger. You want to hate on someone that people have asked, many people. And so this is where leadership, the difference between leadership and wanna be ship, right? I'm just saying, because you do things based upon what people, levels of leadership people visualize you. And now I'm not like, I'm very tactful, and I haven't necessarily been, if people looking at what Malcolm X, stood for. I'm, more. There's a time and a place for a level of, shall I say, radicalism and a form of militancy, and there's always a time and a place for manhood and expressions of manhood. And as Ozzie Davis says, Malcolm was our manhood, right? And with that being said, just taking it back, for instance, and this is the 100th anniversary, and I just think about, like, there's several books. Let me see if they got them in the back of here. That all of the books that Brother Paul Coates published, Black Castor Press. But, yeah, wait a minute. Seize the Time, Decided Glory, David Hilliard. War Against the Panthers. No, I don't think that's the one, but okay. No, I'm thinking about the Agents of Oppression and the FBI war on black America, right? And that showed me, for instance, that on some levels, they said the Nation of Islam had so many agents in it. I can't recall the exact words of how they described it, but I mean, they were highly, and I think many in there knew that they were highly infiltrated. Now, I just did a post, and they found out later, for instance, that the Baltimore chapter of the Black Panther Party was started by by the FBI, right? An agent. I just saw something on that, the actual name of the person, or fictitious name, or however that that actually did that. So we, understanding that, and let me just say, during her 100th birthday, we had some bus issues, and I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist, and like say that that was some sabotage going on, but I think it's just interesting and peculiar, though, and you never know what kind of shenanigans are happening to discredit, and I don't, and sometimes there could be a level of incompetence. I mean, I'm not going to say whether, I was incompetent in the degree that, evaluating a black bus company, right? Sometimes you're like, we just going to New York. It's like, it's a bus trip. Like, all right, a black bus driver, like, how bad could a bus be? How bad could a bus driver be? So, and it let me know not all bus drivers are created equally. But I just thought, like, man, you can't mess up that much. So, but you never know the extent of what an operation, or what level that you are actually on, where people are beginning to evaluate your power potential. Now, and I'm not like, and the question, for instance, becomes of threat levels. Right now, I'm not pretending, for instance, like, I'm not like, I have a lot of ideas or whatever, what's going on, and no, I don't always believe voting leads to liberation, etc., etc. But I do recognize at different times there was a time for voting power, and Malcolm had a ballot and bullet ideas, and I think that times certainly are different than during the 70s, when you see people being lynched and just really assassinated. You could develop a level of militancy like what the Black Panthers did, but I'm definitely having an understanding, as I mentioned, how the Baltimore chapter, for instance, of the Black Panther Party was in fact started, according to this, I don't know if it was this documentary, I can't recall, but according to Paul Coates, by the FBI. Now, as I mentioned, I said something, in the title. I said, was it agents or was it the ninjas? Now, and I may go back and look at that. Some years ago when I used to do lectures, there was a debate, that I organized called Islam versus Ma'at. Brother Dr. Mukasa and Dr. Wesley Muhammad, they came to Baltimore. And, I thought it was a cordial actual debate. It may be online somewhere, so I encourage everybody. I was the moderator. I didn't really... Moderators, and I actually read a book on this, it's more so on MC and not necessarily moderating, but, if you moderate actual debate of this caliber, you really... I could have did more homework to run points and counterpoints, but these are like real historian scholars. So I'm not as directly focused intellectually on that level of historical context, right? I'm more a builder, institutional organizer, galvanizer, street type of brother that can get into different spaces and not just before but now, that's where I am now. But so just speaking on that, there were a lot of things that came out during that discussion as well that really truly show some understanding, for instance, that not everybody, people know that there were definitely some forces and high-level forces, absolutely, within the Nation of Islam that allowed and disconnected Malcolm from Elijah Muhammad, right? And they planted hostile seeds against Malcolm for a very, very long time, fearing that he could take over the nation. Now, here's what I learned from that, because I had to glean certain things, and I don't want to be paranoid. I don't want to distance myself from everybody, but I realized this. If there are people out here, and I'm not running around, but when you are and you have that level of consciousness, like Steve Biko talked about, the consciousness of the people, and I've planted strategic seeds, like, I keep Dr. Eric Connor's book, Africa 101, and she'll be speaking in Johannesburg in a few days. If it's not, I think it's coming up. She will be in Johannesburg, South Africa. They didn't invite me, and they didn't invite me some other places, but it don't matter, because I'm talking to you right here. That's all. That's the blessing I need, and I do get invites locally. I have some very, very powerful friends that, invite me strategically to places, and so, things are absolutely happening on a higher level than most would conceptualize. But getting back to what I believe, for instance, that happened. And Dick Gregory has these conspiracies about, some shots coming from overhead. Like, nobody authenticated that. Even the family, they didn't address it, but nobody is like really buying that theory. Just like Dick Gregory and Coakley have theories going on about Dr. King and Jesse Jackson. And yes, I do have the book, William Pepper's book. I mean, there's an audio book to it. I don't want to dig that deep. Like, I don't have time. I don't have time, man. We got to get free. Like, I don't have that much time to be sitting there reading a 700-page book, so I can go online and talking to a radio with 10 people listening, talking about, I'll debate you. I'll debate you. This is what Jesse did. Jesse set him up. And I don't know. Like, you speaking like you were there, like you were an FBI agent, like next to the in-charge agent. Like, dude, like, you only know, here's the thing. You never know what kind of shenanigans. See, this is my point with these, this Reject Nation of Islam kickout person that's trying to tell you that Jesse was an agent, right? You never know what kind of shenanigans that the FBI will put out to knock Jesse. Who knows? They do all kind of misinformation type stuff to say he was a FBI agent. And listen, I was the last one to bring Brother Coakley to Baltimore. So for the Negroes that think that I don't, know what's going on, or like, listen, I've been around like enough, but am I gonna sit up there and go hard and say, yeah, Steve Coakley said and Dick Gregory said, like, what kind of intel do they have? All they have is what the COINTELPRO papers said. Like, or maybe somebody gave them some kind of feedback or something. It's possible. But they not like they weren't like if Tyrone Powers said something, I would believe him more. I would believe Dr. Tyrone Powers more than somebody that didn't want to leak information. See, people pick and choose. If anything, somebody gonna leak something, they're gonna leak it to the press, right, or to some agency that deal with police misconduct or something like that. They're not giving it to Dick Gregory, right, or Steve Coakley. No disrespect, but I'm simply saying I'm not buying into like where I'm going. That's why I didn't even speak on Jesse Jackson, because I don't want to be wrong. But Dr. Jahi Issa, who's a real Garveyite, he has a lot of respect for Jesse Jackson. Dr. Jahi Issa, Delaware University. He used to, I don't know if I interviewed him, but he gave some insights on to the role of Jesse Jackson. So you have people on different sides, and I'll give you, who else I was going to say? In Amos Wilson's Blueprint to Black Power, which I know that none of the 4Ds, some of these, I read it 3 times, 3, not 1, not 2, not 3 times. So you're not going to sit up here and pretend somehow that you have some secret liberation teachings. Like, you got some secret liberation teachings by you explaining what Jesse Jackson may or may not have done. Anyway, I'm getting off my topic, but but I had to throw that out there because people may look at this video. Some people may find it like a year or 2 from now, or maybe 100 years. I don't know how long people going to be looking up Malcolm X and stuff. So I'll make sure I put it, proper documents and the proper keywords so people can check it out later. But here's the thing: several people have, did some real work. Brother Zach Kondo, he in Baltimore. There's a brother that did and some years ago I did like a 2-day Malcolm X. I did two events, one in Baltimore and one in Prince George's County, Malcolm X weekend. So I did that way before the bus thing to New York, right? So, but looking at that and looking for instance, so I realized that I may not have to be around some of these people, because my idea is, what if, for instance, these agent provocateurs are not necessarily agent provocateurs like Malcolm X, and what I learned even about the Nation of Islam, there was some jealous folk that was, angry with their shine, with Malcolm X shine, that the ninjas, had to neutralize them as well. Yes, and it's possible that other agents, the Bossy Bureau of Special Services, New York Police Department, could be been like some, FBI rogue members of the nation as well. So I certainly do believe that, but it made me realize, for instance, that sometimes when you do something so big, when you are on certain levels, you got to watch like how you roll. If you don't want to end up, for instance, like Malcolm, if you don't want to end up like how the US organization, the Malanga Karenga, the founder of Kwanzaa, how they got into a shootout with the Black Panther Party and at the UCLA, right? So understanding that, you have to realize that maybe you have to put some protections around yourself, right? Meaning that you may not have, particularly if these people are like not very well rounded, and just kind of closed mind. And this is for the future generations of brothers. If you were incarcerated, and or you are older and you're not as very well versed, you may have to be careful and not follow some of these older people who may be a little insecure. They may be a little insecure because they may not have gone anywhere. They haven't organized like on a local level in a respectable, commendable way. So they, in fact, may have that level of hostility towards you, although you're not like operating, under any organizational type of structure where they just like, you might get your hands out of my pocket, So here's the thing that I want to get across, is to be careful as you continue to organize and work. Think critically about the quality of the people that are around you. Make sure that they not just starting drama and continuing to mislead you, and make sure that they not like competitive. And this is the thing, like sometimes here's the thing. Malcolm, many people may not know this, and I'm trying to get the source, but there was speculations, for instance, that one of Elijah Muhammad's alleged children, wives, whatever, child, mother, wives, was possibly been someone that Malcolm X may or may not have been courting, right? And so you have that in these organizations. You have that amongst some black men. I recall, and let me just share, and this is why, I paid a price, man, for allowing for sisters to be like caught up in some of these cults, right? I mean, and it could happen in the church where, where black women don't respect you as a man. And I don't, see, I'm different. I aspire towards things. And many of these black men, they don't have, they pretend, even in their little relationship, they pretend like that their women have their back. Well, and it's possible that they may on some levels, but many of the brothers that I've seen, they've allowed for many of their women to be average and regular, and substandard, while someone like myself, I gotta move. We gotta get free. Like that Harriet Tubman mindset, right? Of getting free by any means necessary, right? And so and shout out to the descendants of Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. We had a good time at the 208th birthday of Frederick Douglass. I was present there, so we had a great time. Shout out to Terrence Bailey and Tonette. That Frederick Douglass family name was Bailey at first, and so and Tonette Ross Cuffey, because the family of Harriet Tubman, she was a Ross at first, right? So I had a great time. Had a great time. Now, what was I saying? Yeah, so Malcolm possibly had a relationship with one of the Elijah Muhammad's secretaries, or they sort of kind of liked him. Now, he was in his 60s having a child with someone possibly late teens, I assume. I don't want to speak and say that they were underage. I don't know. I can't recall. Some people dig deeper and they say that they were underage. I'm not sure. I don't want to, cause anything about that. I don't know. But they were in it. Maybe if they were 18, maybe they were 19, maybe they were 20. So, but anyway, it's just interesting that, 60-year-old men can get them, some 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds. But, that's where, power and religious teachings and, things, young women looking to belong to different things. So I get it. I get that, men can exploit these things. And I've had brothers, older men who have a little bit of wisdom, have, their team around them who may have a wife around them, and they come together to manipulate ignorant, impressionable young people, whether it be in a church or whether they be on the outside of church, to basically, I ain't gonna say just get money, because sometimes it's they giving you knowledge, they giving you a community, You should give to the community. You should give to the cause. So I'm just simply saying, like, I am the cause. I am the community. I'm your brother. Like, so, I mean, and I know that many men don't have the testicular fortitude to stand up and get some cred, get some respect in their relationships, so that they could ensure that they are, taken care of in life. So I think I'm about done, y'all. I feel like I've covered a lot. Um, you know, again, this is Malcolm X, the day he was assassinated, and it had me thinking. It had me thinking today. Um, I saw some people post about it, and I did watch the Shabazz Center up in New York. They had Benjamin Crump and the mayor, and I'm gonna finish watching the rest of it. The mayor of New York spoke there, but I feel that we can make progress. I feel that you have to be very, very careful as to not get caught up and let people position you and to make you weaker. And so that's what has happened. That some people have attempted, to neutralize and undermine me. But the blessing of that is that they have pushed me forward, and I got even some of them. I mean, even my family, some of my family members are addicted to listening to these ignorant people, and I can't help them. And that's why, I just really realized, like, look, damn, like, y'all crazy. Like, I'm winning, and you sitting down there following rejects and losers. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna, I can't waste no time with you. You're not learning. You're not growing. You're not making no money. So, and you're not making me no money. And I'm just going to get to the bottom of the reality, the balance of what I need to get out here and get in order to survive. And so, yes, I need some folks. I need to make money. And I'm not going to sit up here and be some poor righteous teacher. and listen, I was listening to them talk about Dr. King, and Dr. King sacrificed so much that he and Coretta, they didn't even have like a house. Is that? Yeah, and who was I listening to? Was I listening to Benjamin Crump, or someone was saying how they said Coretta Scott King was saying she needed a house, and that's where I'm like, people sacrifice a lot, but you got doing for self really means doing for self. Like, you got to take something away from yourself so that when you get to be, God forbid, and thank God, shall I say, no, thank God that you do live to get to 60 years old, that you're not sitting up there saying woulda, shoulda, coulda, where am I going to live, where am I going to eat, like my bills paid, what Walmart job I'm going to work at. No, so this is why, you can't be out here like socializing and partying, and you got to get your knowledge, you got to get your books, and you got to network, and you got to build the right allies. And this is why people are, inviting me to real substantive things, not pie in the sky, because there's a lot of these Pan-Africanist people, and they will travel to the end of the world. I just posted something about how, and I don't want to go off on a deep end, but how some of these people, they will fly anywhere in the world or anywhere in the U.S. and not even have no damn money to get back. And so they call people and text people, calling me, texting me, saying I'm stuck. Not just once, not just twice, not 3 times, 4 and 5 times. 4 and 5 times. I'm like, it ain't nothing. I mean, and some people feel like people should contribute to stuff like that, you know? I mean, listen. Paying bills and being responsible, hell, I wish that somebody would just give something to me. Like, and maybe I should be a professional beggar. Maybe I should say drop donations, run them donations. Or tell women, let's see, $500 for a date. $500 for, let's see, $500 for midnight basketball, something crazy. Like I see one person, I'll just say Umar. And, you know, like, here's the thing. To older brothers that may be agents or just jealous haters, here's what I want you to do. Don't just be a protector. Don't just be a protector of these black women. Be a provider of them. Like, provide for their lifestyles. If you want to be a bandwagon hopper with them, like jump on that bandwagon in real life. Like, don't teeter saying I support you, sister, because that brother think he got it going on and he calling you crazy because you just do dumb shit. Yes, you just do some dumb stuff, and I don't do dumb stuff no more. Period. Listen, after a certain time in life, y'all, hit me close. You should have enough intelligent people. You should been able to observe people. You should be able to listen and think about what you've seen out here in this world that works, right? No crystal ball, no magic potions, no spooky pie in the sky, no crystal lights and, crystal fantasy people coming to save you. Listen, I don't deal with none of that. I deal with practical reality. What they call it? Dialectical materialism. I mean, on some levels, like straight up. I believe in survival. What we want, what we believe, you know. We want freedom. We want the power to determine the destiny of the black community. No, so that's where, we have to reach a level of our development. And so, in closing, got a big week this week. I'll be in Annapolis ×2 this week, Monday and Thursday. If you can make it to the MBE night, yes. So we have to support the black businesses, the minority black businesses, and create opportunities if we can. Build an ecosystem, build an economy, network, build some allies. And so I've had a great, tremendous experience. I was able to sort of be present during the A-Day creation, and I've seen how that's has manifested, and many have said that could be and has been like a form of reparations on many levels if individuals are wise enough to empower themselves via that route. And we here in Maryland certainly should be taking opportunities of the MBE opportunities. So if I can be of any assistance in those regards, I know I'm a little, people just probably like, he was talking about Malcolm X and voting and, yeah, that's what you do as a success scholar. When you have the right knowledge and you are about something and want to be about something, you are empowering people in ways that matter. So that's where I am. So, all right, I'm at 45 minutes. Thank you all. I tried to do like 30, 45 in an hour just to kind of keep it simple. But thank you all for tuning in, y'all. Holla at the Success Scholar, Dr. Haki Shakur Me. I got some articles. I'll be on 10:10 a.m. tomorrow, 5 p.m. And I got some articles coming out, possibly in the banner. We'll see how it goes. So Baltimore banner, that is. And shout out to Dr. K. She has an event coming in DC for the Asala, which was founded by Dr. Carter G. Woodson. I wish I could be there. The tickets are sold out, so that won't be happening. So I'll just kind of hang around and make some things happen in Great Old More. So thank y'all. Peace and blessings. Haki Shakur Me, the Success Scholar, Honor Warren Sasafro. Follow me on all your social media. Haki Shakur Me, Raising Consciousness and Capital. Arambe Books page. And the Success Scholar, so just look me up. Peace and blessings. Shoot. Damn it. Darn it. Darn it. I can't stop this show. I gotta get this.